Welcome back, coin lovers and treasure hunters. In today's deep dive, we'll explore the history, secrets, errors, and values behind a coin you might just have tucked away in a drawer. First up, the 1987 Lincoln Memorial Cent. That's right, we're talking about a coin that's often overlooked, yet has some hidden surprises that might just make it a miniature fortune for the right collector. So don't blink, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for in your 1987 pennies. The year was 1987. Ronald Reagan was president of the United States. The Cold War was still brewing. The Simpsons hadn't even aired yet. And while the world was changing rapidly, the humble penny kept being produced in the billions. The Lincoln cent had already been circulating for nearly 80 years by 1987, having been first minted in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. But this wasn't the original wheat penny. This was the Lincoln Memorial design, introduced in 1959 to mark 150 years since Lincoln's birth. By 1987, this reverse had been used for almost 3 decades, and it had become one of the most recognized and collected coins in American pocket change. Let's talk design. The obverse, or head side, of the 1987 1-cent coin features Victor David Brenner's iconic profile of President Lincoln. Facing right, this design hasn't changed since 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. Look closely and you'll see, "In God We Trust" above Lincoln's, the word liberty to the left, and the date 1987 to the right, sometimes followed by a mint mark. More on that soon. Flip the coin, and you're greeted by Frank Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial reverse. It's not just a building. It's a tribute to the enduring legacy of Lincoln's leadership and ideals. And if you look closely between the pillars, you'll even see a tiny statue of Lincoln, just like the real memorial in Washington, D.C. Above the memorial are the words, United States of America, and below the denomination, 1 cent. And of course, the motto, EPLURIBUSUNUM, is proudly displayed across the top. But the 1987 cent wasn't made like the ones from the early 1900s. Back then, pennies were made of 95% copper. But due to rising metal prices, the U.S. Mint switched the composition in 1982. By 1987, pennies were made from a core of 99.2% zinc, coated with a thin layer of pure copper. That gives us a coin that weighs just 2.5 grams, compared to the older 3.11-gram copper cents. This change also introduced new challenges. Zinc is a softer metal, and these coins are more susceptible to corrosion and damage. In 1987, the Lincoln cent was struck at 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; San Francisco, S mint mark, proof coins only. Here are the mintage numbers. 1987, Philadelphia, 4,682,466,931 coins. 1,980. Denver, 4,879,389,514 coins. 1,987 S. San Francisco, proof, 4,227,728 coins. Yes, you heard right. That's over 9.5 billion business strike pennies from just 2 mints. That makes the 1987 cent incredibly common, at least at face value. But here's where things get interesting. Despite its high mintage, there are 1987 cents with rare and valuable errors and varieties that collectors go crazy for. Let's look at a few. 1. Double die obverse, DDO. While no major DDOs are officially recognized for 1987 cents, minor doubling on Liberty and In God We Trust has been reported. Always inspect with a loupe or microscope. 2. Off-center strikes, coins that weren't properly centered during striking. The further off-center while still showing the date, the more valuable. A 10-30% off-center 1,980/70 can fetch $10,000 to $15,000. 3. Clipped planchet. This error occurs when the blank metal sheet is improperly punched. Values range from $20,000 to over $30,000 depending on size and visibility. 4. Broad-struck errors, coins struck outside the collar, causing a stretched, flattened appearance. These can be worth $15,000 to over $25,000. 5. BIE errors, a small die break between the B and E in Liberty that resembles the letter I. These small die breaks can be fun to collect and may sell for $5,000 to $10,000. 6. Struck through grease or debris, when foreign material affects the design. leaving areas weak or missing. These errors vary widely in value based on severity and appeal. Don't forget the 1987S proof Lincoln cent. These were minted only in San Francisco and sold in U.S. mint proof sets, with a mirror-like finish and frosted details. These coins were never intended for circulation. While they aren't rare, remember, over 4 million were made. A flawless PR69 or PR70 deep cameo specimen can still fetch $15,000 to $20,000, sometimes more if graded by PCGS or NGC. Let's talk value. If you're holding a circulated 1987 or 1980 Lincoln cent, it's generally worth 1 cent, maybe 2 cents if you sell in bulk to copper stackers. Although remember, it's mostly zinc. But what about uncirculated coins? A 1987 or 1980 Lincoln cent in MS65 red, mint state. Condition sells for $25,000 to $30,000. Higher grades like MS67 red can fetch $40,000 to $45,000, especially from top-tier grading companies like PCGS or NGC. Era coins, as mentioned earlier, vary wildly, but the right collector might pay $50,000 to $100,000 or more for a dramatic off-center or clipped planchet error. The color matters too. Coins are graded as red RD, red-brown RB, or browns BN, with full red commanding the highest prices. The 1987 Lincoln Memorial cent might not be the rarest penny out there, but it's still a fascinating piece of U.S. coinage history. With its massive mintage, subtle varieties, and hidden errors, it offers something for everyone, from beginners just starting their penny albums to advanced collectors hunting for that perfect MS67 red. So before you toss that 1987 penny in the change jar, take a second look. It just might be hiding a secret worth more than you think. Next up, the 1975 Lincoln Memorial cent, a penny that could be worth more than 1 cent, especially if you know what to look for. From historical context to rare errors and collector value, we're covering it all in today's deep dive. So grab your magnifying glass, and let's go on the hunt for hidden value in the 1975 penny. The year was 1975. America was recovering from the Watergate scandal. President Gerald Ford was in office. The Vietnam War had just ended. Inflation was high, gas prices were rising, and the U.S. Mint was pumping out coins to keep up with economic demand. In the middle of all that, the 1975 Lincoln cent continued its quiet, dependable role in commerce, a symbol of stability in a time of change. It's a coin you probably still see in your change today. But is it worth more than face value? That's what we're here to find out. The 1975 Lincoln cent features the same design first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Let's break it down. Obverse front, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's bust faces right. In God we trust arcs above. Liberty appears to Lincoln's left. The date 1975 is at the lower right, and it may include a D for Denver or no mark for Philadelphia. Reverse back, designed by Frank Gasparo, features the Lincoln Memorial, introduced in 1959 for Lincoln's 150th birthday. If you look closely between the columns, you'll see a tiny statue of Lincoln. United States of America arcs across the top. EPLURIBUSUNUM is directly above the memorial. 1 cent is boldly placed at the bottom. Simple, elegant, and unmistakably American. The 1975 penny is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, the same composition used since 1962. It weighs 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19.05 mm. This was before the big change in 1982, when the U.S. Mint began switching to copper-plated zinc to save on costs. That means 1975 pennies are the real deal, solid copper, and that alone makes them worth more than 1 cent for their metal content alone, even if only a little more. Let's take a look at where the 1975 Lincoln cents were made, and how many were struck. Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark. Mintage, 5,451,476,142. Denver Mint, D mint mark. Mintage, 4,505,275,300. That's right, nearly 10 billion pennies combined. That makes the 1975 cent incredibly common in circulation. However, that also means finding a high-grade or error specimen becomes even more exciting, because so many were made under less than perfect conditions. Important note, there were no proof coins made in San Francisco in 1975. Instead, the mint produced bicentennial coins for 1976, and the proof sets dated 1975 included 1976 bicentennial quarters, halves, and dollars. Despite the massive mintage, a few varieties and errors have surfaced that make the 1975 Lincoln cent highly collectible. Here are some you should be on the lookout for. 1. Double die obverse DDO. Slight doubling on Liberty, or In God We Trust. Minor examples are reported, though no dramatic class I doubling is officially listed. These may bring $1,000 to $5,000, depending on clarity. 2. Off-center strikes. Coins struck outside the collar, missing parts of the design. 5. 10% off-center equals sign, $5,000 to $15,000 or more. 40. 60% off-center, especially showing full date equals sign $10,000 to $15,000 or more. 3. Clipped planchet errors. Partial crescent-shaped missing metal from the rim, often caused by misfeeds in the blanking press, can bring $15,000 to $20,000, depending on size and appeal. 4. BIE error. A die break between the B and E in Liberty that resembles the letter I. Popular among Lincoln cent collectors, these minor cud errors may sell for $5,000 to $15,000. 5. Die cracks in cuds. Raised lines or blobs caused by damaged dies. Small cracks are common, but large retained cuds are more valuable. Prices range from $25,000 to over $30,000 or more. 6. Struck through errors. When a foreign object like grease or string is pressed into the coin during minting, value varies, but dramatic examples can fetch $35,000 to $50,000 or more depending on condition. Always examine your coins under a 10x magnification loupe. The devil's in the details. So, what's a 1975 penny worth today? Here's the breakdown by condition. Circulated VF to AU. Worth face value to 2.5 cents due to copper content. Uncirculated MS60, MS63 red. Worth $1,000 to $3,000. MS65 red. Around $5,000 to $10,000. MS66 red. Around $25,000 to $40,000. MS67 red. These are super scarce. Prices range from $50,000 to over $100,000, especially if certified by PCGS or NGC. Red versus red, brown versus brown. A fully red RD coin is worth significantly more than red-brown RB or brown BN, even at the same grade. Key tip, look for rolls or BU, brilliant uncirculated, coins stored away for decades. That's where gems are hiding. Collectors love the Lincoln Cent series because it spans over 100 years and includes both common coins and legendary rarities like the 1909S VDB and the 1955 DDO. The 1975 Lincoln Cent may not be rare by mintage, but in mint state red condition, or with the right error, it becomes highly collectible. And for copper stackers, every pre-1982 penny is a keeper due to its higher metal value. If you're building a Lincoln Memorial Cent set, or hoping to snag a high-grade example for grading, 1975 is a must-have year. So there you have it, the 1975 Lincoln Memorial Cent. A coin you might pass every day, but one that holds more value than you think when you know what to look for. Next up, the 1971 Lincoln Memorial Cent. It may look like just another penny, but as you're about to see, this copper coin can pack a punch, especially if you know what to look for. Rare errors, unique varieties, and even high-grade gems could turn this 1-cent piece into a valuable collectible. Let's unlock the full story behind the 1971 penny. And by the end of this video, you just might be searching your pocket change. The year was 1971. Richard Nixon was president. America was still embroiled in the Vietnam War. Apollo 14 landed on the moon. Gas was 40 cents a gallon, and the average home cost under $30,000. Amid this backdrop, the U.S. Mint struck billions of Lincoln cents, tiny copper coins that kept the economy flowing and carried the face of America's 16th president. Through a rapidly changing world, let's look at the design that's been with us for generations. Obverse front, the profile of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. In God We Trust arcs above Lincoln's head. Liberty sits to his left. The year 1971 appears to the right, sometimes followed by a small mint mark, D for Denver or S for San Francisco. Reverse back, designed by Frank Gasparo, showcases the Lincoln Memorial, in use from 1959 to 2008. United States of America sits along the top, with PLURIBUSUNUM underneath. 1 cent is boldly at the bottom. Take a close look between the memorial's columns. You'll actually see a tiny statue of Lincoln. In 1971, the penny was still made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, a composition used since 1962. The coin weighs 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. It wasn't until 1982 that the mint changed to copper-plated zinc to cut costs. So every 1971 penny is the real copper deal, and even its melt value today is higher than 1 cent. But hang on, don't melt them. It's illegal to melt U.S. cents for profit. 3 U.S. mints produced Lincoln cents in 1971. Let's break it down. 1. Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark. Mintage, 1,521,451,000. 2. Denver Mint D. Mintage, 2,911,040,5,600. 3. San Francisco Mint, S proof only. Mintage, 3,220,700. And 33 proof coins only. That's a combined total of over 4.4 billion coins. So yes, these pennies are extremely common, but condition and error types make all the difference. Despite the high mintage, the 1971 Lincoln cent has some fascinating errors and varieties that collectors chase. Let's go through the most important ones. 1. 1971 Double Die Obverse, DDO, Philadelphia only. A highly sought-after variety. Strong doubling on In God We Trust Liberty, and the date. Extremely dramatic doubling, one of the clearest in the Lincoln series. A coin in AU condition can sell for $3,000, $5,000. Mint state examples, over $10,000 to $20,000 plus depending on grade. 2. 1971S Proof DDO. The proof version struck at San Francisco also has a rare DDO variety. Doubling is visible on Liberty and In God We Trust. Can bring $20,000 to $25,000 depending on grade. 3. Off-center strikes. Coins struck away from center, with part of the design missing. 10%, 20% off-center equals sign $2,000, $5,000. 40% plus, with full date equals sign $10,000 plus. 4. Clipped planchets. Crescent-shaped clips caused by missed blanks. Values vary, typically $1,000 to $3,000 plus. 5. BIE error, die break in Liberty. A vertical die chip between the B and E in Liberty that looks like a small I. These can sell for $500p to $15,000. 6. Struck through errors, caused by grease, wire, cloth, or other objects on the die. Dramatic examples can sell for $15,000 to $25,000. So next time you spot a 1971 penny, check those letters and numbers closely. Let's talk value by grade and color classification. Lincoln cents are graded from MS60 to MS70, and color plays a big role. Brown BN, darker circulated look. Red-brown RB, some original luster. Red RD, bright original mint red. 1971, no mint mark, Philadelphia. Circulated 1 to 3 cents. MS63 red, $1,000 to $10,000. MS65 red, $20,000 to $35,000. MS66 red, $50,000 to $80,000. MS67 red, $200,000. 1971D, Denver. Circulated, face value to 3 cents. MS65 red, $10,000 to $20,000. MS66 red, $40,000 to $70,000. MS67 red, over $150,000 but very rare. 1970 1S proof. PR65, $4,000, $8,000. PR69 DCAM deep cameo, $15,000 to $25,000. Proof DDO, $30,000 to $40,000. To maximize value, submit potential gems to grading services like PCGS or NGC, especially if they have full red color or show doubling. The 1971 penny is part of the long-running Lincoln Memorial Cent series from 1959, 2008, a favorite among U.S. collectors. If you're building a full Lincoln set, the 1971 DDO is a must-have variety. It's considered one of the most dramatic double dies in the Memorial series. Many collectors also search for BU rolls or original Bancraft rolls, hoping to score an error or MS67 example. So, is the 1971 penny just a common coin? Yes and no. While it's one of the most produced U.S. cents of the 20th century, rare errors, proof varieties, and high-grade examples can bring serious value. Whether you're a beginner or seasoned collector, don't overlook the humble 1971 Lincoln cent. It just might surprise you. Whether you're a casual collector, a hardcore error hunter, or someone who just loves a bit of American history in your hand, this copper classic deserves a second look. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, subscribe for more deep coin dives, and drop a comment below. Do you have a 1975 penny with an error? Or maybe even one in mint state red? Let us know. Thanks for watching.